Welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday Fun Day. It's the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, a very special edition. I am your host, one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
I'm having my usual Tito's, orange juice, and cranberry juice. Mr. Nick, I need you to tell me what you're drinking and our three things for this recap show.
Mr. Nick is having red wine as usual. Well, John Cena is retiring, except for Money in the Bank. Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank. And Damian Priest retained his World Heavyweight title with a little bit of help from CM Punk. It's Sunday, July 7th, 2024, very special edition. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday Fun Day. If you think this is unusual, it is, because we don't usually broadcast on Sunday, but it's a special Sunday because last night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, was WWE Money in the Bank, and we have a lot to take away. Ladies and gentlemen, John Cena is retiring from WWE, from professional wrestling, let's just say, in-ring competition. So if you didn't get to catch it, let's catch you up on it.
Tonight, I officially announce my retirement from the WWE. 2025 Royal Rumble will be my last. The 2025 Elimination Chamber will be my last. And I'm here tonight to announce that in Las Vegas, WrestleMania 2025 will be the last WrestleMania I competed.
End of an era. John Cena, after 2025, will no longer be an in-ring performer for the WWE. Nikki, thoughts?
I was like, I guess, and I rewatched it live. I always rewatch it the next day. I didn't realize his little towel said, for like the last time is now. When you look at his shirt, it's like, oh, the final tour or whatever it said. It's like, oh, I guess that made sense, because I feel like when he said, like, I'm retired, I was like, what? And it's like, oh, if you actually looked, paid attention. And I think we were doing a million other things, but it's, I don't know. I think I'm excited. I think this is the way to do it. I think I really like the kind of how Sting announced that they did a thing, and I think him doing what he said, between 35 and 40 dates, going from all of 2025 from January to December next year. I think this is kind of the way to do it, and I'm excited to kind of see what happens in the next 12, 18 months with him.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the component that, Sting's goodbye tour in AEW, whatever you want to call it. I really liked that element of it, and how he went out kind of on his own terms, even though he's what is he, 62 or something like that. But being able to say, listen, I'm still in good enough shape to have a good enough match with whoever and to leave a lasting impression. Having John Cena be able to go out on his terms and hopefully give us one last run of some memories and things like that will go a long way in just, his legacy. I've developed I'm one of the many who were just John Cena haters for a long time, right? Like he was the kids guy, whatever, for however long. And he had the thugonomics element to his persona that was really, unique early on in the rapping that got him over. But it'll be nice to see him, the last 7 to 10 years was the John Cena that I was like, oh my God, this, I see why you pushed this guy for ever long. You know what I mean? That his personality, he put in so much work. He acknowledged a lot of the things he didn't during his, if you want to call it, prime of his athletic career. I think it's the right thing to do to send him off the right way. Mm-hmm. And if you're curious, it's 100% real. He's not coming back. He said it himself. So we're gonna take you to the, I almost called it the post game, the press conference.
They called it a post show. So
post show on John Cena, on his thoughts on being retired and how he's fully retired.
What's next? I don't know. I know what's now. I'm in the middle of filming Peacemaker season 2. So they gave me a weekend off to come and have some fun. Yes, the jorts will be retired. And, man, just when they were coming back into fashion, too. I do want to make it perfectly clear that when I say I'm done competing, I'm done. The uniform will be retired. You will see me in a suit and tie. I have no intention on being physical in any way. No guest refereeing, no falling through an accidental table. None of that stuff. I will be a fan and an advocate, and that's it.
So you heard it here. You heard it from the horse's mouth. He is officially done. No extracurricular special guest referee antics. John Cena is absolutely finished.
Yeah, and to kind of follow up later in that kind of quote question, he said, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when it comes to sports entertainment retirements. Like, he doesn't say wrestling ever. It's sports entertainment. He's like, either it's immediate injured forces, excuse to beat up a champion, or dishonest, that they'll come back 2 years later. I'm setting the record straight. I am done. So I think that says a lot. I think again, in wrestling, you never say never, and Punk kind of made a joke about that. But I feel in my bones, Cena's like, I'm going to go on this tour. He said he's excited to see everybody. He's like, I haven't gone on like a tour in so long. He's like, he's excited about it. And I think him being excited makes it good. Because I was laughing when you were saying, because I did not watch the Ruthless Aggression era live. I was very 80s, 90s kid, and then kind of fell off. And honestly, a friend of mine, made like after maybe a week or two after that infamous Money in the Bank 2011 match between Punk and John Cena, he was like, you need to watch this match. You will absolutely fall in love with CM Punk and actually hate John Cena. And it was a very long time for me. It was like, lol, Cena wins, lol, Cena sucks. And it's like, it took me a while to kind of, to go back and rewatch everything and like actually giving John Cena the respect he absolutely deserves. Again, being the CM Punk person I am, for a while, it's just like, oh, like John Cena, lol. But again, it's like going back and appreciating like what an incredible career he had. And I think him putting his own little bow on it is going to be really fun to watch.
So, Nikki, I asked you, you kind of touched on it. Do you have a favorite John Cena match?
I have two that stick out. There's a lot. There's two that obviously stick out. Obviously, Punk, Cena, 2011 Money in the Bank. And I think I love the Down of the Wink for it to be at Money in the Bank. That was such an incredible match. It's such an incredible moment. I don't think the match gets enough credit for it actually being a pretty good match. It's all, like Punk going through the crowd, blowing the kiss. The pipe bomb before it. And also, we talked about before this coming on, the match with AJ and him, Royal Rumble 2017. And I think it did get the flowers, but I think maybe because we're so far past 2017, which is scary to say. But like, do your favor and go back and rewatch that match as chefs. Yes.
That's 7 years ago. That's crazy.
I know, we're old. Ugh, God, just take me out back.
See, for me. Now, you're right. I think the Punk match will always be remembered for the Punk match. But for me, like one of the ones you didn't mention is, well, it was once in a lifetime, it became twice in a lifetime. Him and The Rock. I just think the build-up, years and years of build-up between them, being able to, the promos back and forth, he was the biggest star since The Rock. So to have that match, that first time, the Miami one, even though I was at the one the next year and covering WrestleMania 29, like just the build up and everything that went into it was phenomenal. And even like, Cena started bringing back his Thugonomics stuff. Like he was really doing a lot of callbacks to his old original characters. And that had to be one of my by far favorites. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna put a plug in because it kind of someone brought it up during the press conference. I think to me maybe underrated the Firefly Funhouse match with him, and you know how much we love Bray on this show. I probably watched the Funhouse match probably over 30 times. Like, I love that because someone asked, like, oh, do you made that one comment, and he was like dance moves, and he did like made his like heel turn, and then he alluded to it during the Firefly Funhouse match. They were like, oh, will you ever turn heel? And he's like, basically, you're just gonna get the authentic me. Like, there's no plans. He's like, WWE, like, our fans have such a high bullshit meter that people will see right through it. He's like, I'm just here to build moments. And I think that's what throughout the press conference, like, he's here for the fans. He's here for his last time. He wants to build moments and memories to keep WWE going for the next 22 years.
No, absolutely. And again, there was, you kind of touched on it. One of the biggest, one of the biggest moments was the Punk match. So at the press conference afterwards, they asked Punk about his feelings. So we're going to give you the little clip from that as well.
Cena, I think, to my career means a lot. I don't think there's many people up in that rare air where if you talk about my career, I feel you have to talk about John. And it makes me feel proud that I think if you talk about John's career, I think you have to talk about me. You know, we're married in that respect. So proud of him. He gets to go out on his terms. I know that's important. I'm looking forward to what he does. And I told him that, if it's going to be one more time, we got to do it at least one more time.
So you heard it here. Punk's trying to
He did
coerce
say
him into
he'd
it.
be the one 15 years from now to get Cena to unretire, which I highly doubt. But because I feel like it was very, honestly, not to sound like a mark here, but like I feel like the feud between them back in 2011 did feel very real. I feel like Punk very much felt disrespected, and very much like and then also he was a champion and not main eventing. It was always God. How does John Cena versus John Laurinaitis, piece of shit by the way, main event a pay-per-view and not your champion? But I feel like obviously this is now 10 years later, or probably more than that math, to see that the relationship that they have together, the fondness they have, that for him to be like, oh, well, you can't talk about him without me. You can't talk me without him. Like, how it's very respectful. And he's like, oh, yeah, like I told John Cena, like he can't, I texted him, like, don't leave without saying, hi to me. Yeah. So I love that, like, that's something that felt very real has turned into, not turned into something, but you know what I mean? Like, it's nice if they're friends.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Friends.
So we want to hear from all you. What's your favorite John Cena match? As new people are chiming in. If you're new, hit the old like and subscribe. We're here normally every Fridays at 6, but usually when there's a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank, we like to recap it. And we do Sundays at 5 or 6, again, to recap. So we're recapping our big 3 thoughts from WWE Money in the Bank last night, where John Cena, the big takeaway for us, the first takeaway was John Cena is retiring. He's announcing his retirement tour 2025. So if you have a favorite John Cena match, throw it in the chat. Let us know. If we didn't mention it, we want to hear from all of you. The other thing with this is, I mentioned this to you last night. Like, does he get any sort of title match or run? Like, he's going to be in Royal Rumble. He's going to probably be in Elimination Chamber, which usually has some sort of number one contendership or the title on the line.
I told you the only championship run I want to see is him and R-Truth, because John Cena is R-Truth's childhood hero and favorite wrestler, superstar. Have them go on a fun tag team run. Take the belts off JD in something funny. I don't want him sniffing the world or WWE championships. I don't think you need.
Well, isn't he one away from the record technically?
Yeah, but God, no.
I'm just saying.
I know.
The way to go out on top would be to break Ric Flair's record if they really want. Like,
then we need to get John Stewart back out to interrupt it. I don't. It's okay. 16 to be tied with Ric Flair at 16 is good, honey. Like, he doesn't need to be at 17. I don't want him near. I don't want him. No.
Does John Cena make your Mount Rushmore?
my personal one, I don't think so. I would 100% agree if he was on yours or somebody else's. I know Cole said, last night, he's a goat, he's a goat, he's a goat. He's like, I can't believe I could get to call a couple more Cena matches. I get it. It's not my jamborees.
All right, that's fair. So I think he probably will and deserves some sort of title run. I just don't know what he would get out of it. I don't see anything wrong with giving him another world title run. And I know the purists love Ric Flair, but it's not. Again, you talk about a guy like the longevity. Was he as good in the ring as Ric Flair? Absolutely not. But popularity and everything else he's done.
But I don't want him to take the belt off Cody. I wouldn't want him to take the belt off Gunther. Again,
we're talking about 2025 though. So you're talking about a year and way down the road.
I know. I was thinking again, they kept saying how. I know. Actually, go watch the post show because Jackie Redmond asked this to Big E and to Barrett, and Big E's look and response is definitely how I feel right now. Big E's with the stacked roster and the young people and I don't know, just be done. Do your Fun World Tour. But I would love to see, and I put this in the notes, because at the end he was if you want some, hurry up and come get some. Have him do his open, again, remember he had that US, and that's kind of when I started getting respect for him, when he did that US Open Challenge, when Sammy came out and broke his arm waving, and how he put KO over, KO and Cena was such a fun feud. Oh my God, I want a trios tag belt to have Cena, Randy, and KO be best friends. That. Do the fun stuff. Do the things that put the younger kids over. You don't need a belt.
Okay. So then I'll ask
He's making moments.
My final question about moments, because there will be a final moment for John Cena.
Oh God, he's gonna get.
So who does retire John Cena? Who is John Cena's last match? Who do you want to be John Cena's last match?
So I was perplexed because in the press conference, Cena said he was in no position to handpick opponents. I'm like, you're John Cena. And then Hunter said in the press conference later afterwards, I was someone asked him do you think he'll go in the Hall of Fame? And Triple H was like, yeah, obviously. But who would induct him? And he's like, I think John Cena has earned the right to pick who gets to put him in the Hall of Fame. And then I'm like, he should. And then I'm thinking, poor Kurt. And again, no offense to Baron Corbin. I think Corbin gets a lot of crap. But Kurt Angle's last match shouldn't have been Baron Corbin. I don't know, you're putting over some up-and-comer that's going to go, is it a Mello? Is it a Braun Breaker? Or do you have one fun retirement thing, and it's him and Randy Orton? Finalizing that thing. Personally, I said to you, the little quips and phrases, I think AJ. They both retire together and ride off in horses holding hands.
Oh, so he doesn't mix tag with AJ?
No, I want him and AJ. I said he kept saying
to induct it.
No, I'm talking about who retires him. I'm saying it's either going to be an up-and-coming guy.
AJ Styles. Oh my gosh.
Who did you think?
I'm thinking AJ Lee. For a second, I completely
AJ,
was
and you thought AJ Lee.
I don't know why. Because you're thinking last match. I'm mixed tag last match?
That's why I was confused. I'm no, AJ against each.
Because all the Punk stuff threw me off. So
no, because he made the thing that he was I'm just in the house that, and he pointed to the crowd that y'all built. And then he made the dig of saying you pretend to retire to get a championship match. I'm is he making subtle digs at AJ? Again, they had that incredible match. Beat up John Cena. I wouldn't mind them running that back for one pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get a good match.
Exactly. So
I don't know. We want to hear from all you. Who do you want John Cena's last match to be? Do you want him to get a title run? One last title, whether it's a singles title or a tag team title.
Him and R-Truth. Yeah.
And what's your favorite memory?
Leave the memories alone.
A lot to, I don't even know how to respond to that. A lot to take away from the very beginning of what was Money in the Bank, relatively, for the most part. But regardless, it bleeds us into our mid-card topic of the evening. We did have 2 Money in the Bank matches, and we did claim 2 winners. Tiffany Stratton who I correctly picked
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
to win Women's Money in the Bank, has won Women's Money in the Bank in what was an absolute banger of a match. If you missed it last night, we got some clips. Take a look, get caught up. So Tiffany Stratton it's Tiffy time, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki, Tiffany Stratton, as I correctly predicted.
Well, for the record, I was saying Tiffany was going to win it, and then changed for Chelsea because she's all again MVP of the match. But I'm not upset at Tiffany winning it. Oh, I think she was incredible in this match. There's so many high spots. I think the press conference, I feel bad. She got like 3 questions because John Cena went 4 hours.
She didn't really answer any of them. Like,
no,
it was
which
kind
I
of
think
annoying.
is not. I'm not mad at it, but we'll get to that. If you want us to go, I'm going to go quickly because Mr. Nick likes to rush me because I talk too much.
No, we can take the time. Oh gosh.
Again, the bands, I love this man. So it starts off. Obviously, they all come out, and then the 5 of them get out of the ring. They start grabbing ladders. And Chelsea they did a couple during the press conference, and then her and Kathy Kelly had a thing. Chelsea's afraid of heights. So
yeah, that was a big thing before. So before the pay-per-view, if you watch the pre-show and all that, they were really hyping up that she's afraid of heights because she went on the Toronto Needle. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's I want to say CNN Tower, but I don't know if that sounds right. But it's basically the big Space Needle building in Toronto. It's a lot of Ryan Reynolds stuff. But her and Kathy Kelly actually had an interview on top of it that I watched. It was super scary.
Which how did they get the cameras up there? That's
well, because it's a thing that you can go out there and they're in like jumpsuits.
Yeah, but like I'm carrying a camera too. Like, oh, that's scary.
Anywho,
I'd be afraid of dropping my phone or the camera.
So she's jumping, trying to catch the thing. Obviously, that's not working. Then 2 ladders get thrown into the ring. She grabs the ladder and tries to like poke it like a pinata to get it off. And so she's like trying to do it that way. And then so they let her get her 2 little comedy spots in, and then we kind of like get into the match. Like again, Io hits the drop kick. She gets sent out. Then Lyra comes in.
Yeah, because I thought, like, I told this to you, like, I thought that, like, they were going to do some really good storytelling with Chelsea where, like, she's afraid of heights, so she climbs, like, 1 step at a time throughout the match and, like, gets higher and higher and higher until she gets close enough. I thought that would have been really good storytelling with her. But
they did a little bit of that.
Yeah, a little bit, but, like,
and then we can get to the spots later. But so where do we go? So Lyra hits that crazy fisherman and Io onto that ladder. Then at one point, poor Lyra is trying to open the ladder and is clearly struggling. And Corey Graves, chef's kiss on commentary, he's like, "Do they even have ladders in Ireland?"
Which, like, I know she's good and like she had a lot of really good spots in the fight, but like, was she the right pick over Dakota? Because there's so much more of a story to tell with Dakota and Io. And if you remember, like last year's Money in the Bank, Io was handcuffing Bailey, right? Like that whole, you could play that back year 2 and set up something, with damage control. So I thought, I didn't think like, yeah, she was good in the match relatively, but like, did she need to be in it?
I really again, shout out to Corey Graves. I love Corey Graves. Apparently he had like 102 fever last night. So I feel like he was in some fun fever dream because he was also going off on Lyra. She's like, she thinks she's a bird. If she was a bird, she could just flap her wings and get the briefcase, but she's gonna have to climb. Like, Corey, get into it because that's, I think I think she's really good in the ring, and we'll get to some spots later. But I'm just like, she needs a character besides being a bird, Irish bird girl.
Big old bird.
Big old dumb bird. Okay, and then this move I loved. It's between Tiffy and Naomi. She does that. She has her up and she does the cartwheel into the Alabama Slam into the ladder. That was super fun. And then Tiffy gets Io in the corner. She has the ladder stuck. So Io's stuck. And then Tiffy climbs up the ladder onto the top rope, does that beautiful swanton onto everybody. And I like that she's like...
So here's the thing. She actually did it kind of poorly. She broke, she normally does it really well. This one, she does it and, she breaks super late. Her neck, go back and rewatch it. Her neck's she gets there, but she breaks kind of late. Some people, are over or fully flopped out, if you want to call it. But, she breaks super late on the spot.
I feel again, correct me, people, but I feel like Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, and Ricochet break late, and it looks amazing. I'm not mad at it. People gave this match a lot of shit for being sloppy. It was a little bit in some places, but also it's a ladder match. It's gonna be car crashy. It's gonna be a little spotty. Again, they're all young little babies. Babies besides Naomi being the veteran of the group, I think, or in Io. But I don't know. I'm not mad at it. But again, I thought the Swanton was fun.
I don't think Jeff Hardy was late in this. I
think because it's at the last. Maybe it's more Sammy Ricochet. It's that last moment that they I don't know. Maybe I have to rewatch it for the third time. But I remember thinking it was good, and she kind of wound up in Zoe's crotch. But yeah,
not sure. But anyway.
Anywhoosies. So then out of that schmoz, Io and Lyra, or Lyra's the first to kind of get up and starts going up the ladder again. Io kind of pulls her legging. She gets her down in this the tree of woe spot. So she's kicking her in the face.
The old tree of woe. Who doesn't want that?
Kicking her in the face, kicking her in the face, kicking her in the face, and Lyra's selling great. And then Io starts going up. And then Lyra pulls her down for the tarantula German
tarantula.
Suplex. Again, Nick's yelling at me because I can't say
because she doesn't have to say it or spell it.
I can't say or pronounce tarantula, apparently.
There's spell check, but there's nothing to help you pronounce it.
No.
We're speech therapy. That's the only we can do.
So she does that sweet... Nick has a photo of it. The tarantula German, I think it was a great spot. Again, a lot of fun little moments. And then I feel after this, it just kind of picks up and picks up and picks up. I feel it was a little slow in the beginning, and now we're just hitting the moon. And this Naomi girl, we are saying that she's basically the Kofi Kingston of the women's division, always doing the crazy spots with the ladders. So she's that in Royal Rumbles. And basically, Zoe and Tiffy are pulling the ladders. She's in a full split. And then hits a tornado DDT from that position. How?
So this spot was kind of what's the word? Prefaced, prequel, whatever the word is. I'm trying to think. Teased. And if you watch the pre-show, they were talking about what is the best Money in the Bank spot, and Kofi's there was a guy with a ladder who did a stilt thing. Wow. Yeah, and that was in the pre-show. So I felt they were trying to subliminally be hint, hint, nudge, nudge. There's gonna be a crazy spot later.
But yeah, her again. I think Naomi's underrated, undercredited. Again, she did that split in Moonsault. She did their split that on Zoe on the ladder. I mean, she's so athletic, and I wish she was doing more now that she did that tour. Basically, her tour of duty in TNA Impact was champion. Came back, and I feel they're not doing enough with her. But I think
Andrade.
But
well, it just wasn't an Impact.
She had fun spots, so that happened. And then once Naomi hit the DDT, she rolled out of the ring. She's the first one that pulled out the table. And then Chelsea was nah, threw her into the steps. Then Tiffy and Chelsea set up the two tables. And I say to Nick, I'm if you set that table up 9 out of 10 times, you're the one that's going through it. But we'll get there. So, and then this is when we were getting to the kind of crescendo of this. So they set up, there's the two ladders that you see, and then there's the ladder bridge and the ladder bridge on each side. And at this point, Zoe slams Lyra through the ladder. Then this... Yep.
No, yeah, I had it right.
You had it right. And then...
The impale... Well, it's called...
So, Corey Graves, again, I love my Corey, said it's a modified unprettier. He's but call it how it is. It's ugly as hell. So pretty much, you can tell that Chelsea doesn't want to be there. Naomi very kindly helped her get into the spot. She basically hits like it's kind of like a modified inverted unprettier, what she uses, which is also Christian's move. Hits that, takes Naomi out. Then I don't know if you want to tee up this, because the next I have in my notes.
So they go to the top, and I'm calling this a Rikishi driver. They call it Michinoku driver, Rikishi driver, Michinoku driver. Io hits Zoe, and like Zoe took a crazy amount of bumps in this whole night. Like borderline unsafe bumps. Like there was a point in time earlier in the match, and I made a joke to Nikki, like where like they did like 3 bumps on the ladder in a row, and it was like crazy like side bumps like close to her neck, and like it just wasn't good. And I was like, and then all of a sudden Naomi came in and did all her butt moves, and I was like, oh, they need to be safe. Just put Naomi's butt on the line. We're good. So like it was just like one of those situations. But this was absolutely insane because it's a very dangerous move to do from the top of the ladder onto a ladder, all the metal, everything else. So for me, this was absolutely my big Nick energy moment for the pay-per-view. So I'm stamping it. Io Sky giving a Rikishi driver, Michinoku driver to Zoe Stark as my big Nick energy moment for Money in the Bank 2020. So that was my big moment. Nikki, I know it's leading.
It's leading into mine. So at this point, Lyra's gone because she got slammed. Io, I don't know if you had that photo. Once they panned after she did the driver, Io's in like a Nakamura when he poses. That selling and screaming, it looked crazy pants. When she's like arching when her like arms are and her knees are behind her, just like arching her back and like screaming. So basically everyone's out. So Tiffy's like, or Chelsea comes out and Chelsea starts climbing the ladder.
And the crowd's going nuts because
everyone thinks
she's gonna win.
Like, she's gonna, again, she's Canadian, they're in Canada, hometown pop. So she's climbing it, and then here comes Tiffy climbing up next to her. Like Chelsea's trying to grab it, and then like Tiffy jumps on the ladder, so it shakes. So she's like, "Oh my god, no!" And then Tiffany, just like a cat, just like my cat Bailey, pushing something off the table. She's just like, "Nope," and she pushes the ladder. And Chelsea Green took this bump like a champion, and this is my big Nick energy moment. Chelsea taking that bump. Being afraid of heights, crashing from that ladder through 2 tables, girl chef kiss, big Nick energy moment.
Stamping it.
Stamp it.
The big Nick energy moment. Nikki says Chelsea Green. I say Io Sky. What do you think was the big? We call it our big Nick energy moment. What was the biggest move of the night for you all? We want to hear from you all for Money in the Bank.
So then Chelsea's out of the picture. Tiffy grabs the belt. It's Tiffy time. And I love that she said in the press conference that she's giving the briefcase a makeover. She's like, we're going to paint it pink. We're going to bedazzle it. It's going to get an extra strap because she's going to wear it like a purse. Again, like,
it's better than Rey Mysterio's idea of making it a mask.
Oh, yeah, that's so dumb. But I know I picked Chelsea. And again, it is head over heart. My head knew Tiffy was going to win. I'm excited for Tiffy. I think she's going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm excited to see where she goes. I think she might hold it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now we'll get to it, but the men's one is kind of.
So before we get to the men's side, my question in this is, and again, I picked her. I thought she is deserving, I should say. But I will ask this to everybody: was Tiffany Stratton the best choice for women's Money in the Bank? You have other options.
Like head over heart for me. My heart really wanted Chelsea. My brain said Tiffy made the most sense. And then she had that interaction with Trish backstage. And then she actually got time on the press conference, even though it was brief. And also I love that every person that asked her a question was a female. So ladies.
Well, yeah, but it was like the other story, like, right? Could Io have been a 2-time? Like, could Io use it more than? Because I think Tiffany's going to be a main event star. The briefcase helps her escalate. She could have won the Women's Royal Rumble as well, or just organically build up to the belt.
You're using all the logic I said during my pick against me.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying. So I'm just throwing this out there to our audience. Like, was she the best? Like, because you have Io with that built-in storyline, right? So you could make her a 2-time women's Money in the Bank champion. Chelsea Green, we talked about, like how her bedazzling, but carrying that around with Julian, whatever you want to call it.
Also, I think they shouted out a lot, which I feel like they obviously haven't in a very long time, but like CM Punk's the only person to go back to back with the briefcase. And they were also touting Carmella a lot, that her 9-month reign with the briefcase, and then with Drew losing it. I'm like, I think she's going to have it for a little bit.
Yeah, she probably will. I mean, yeah, they're going to make it a moment for her. Like a big moment.
And like she did say, like on the press conference, she said, Nia's her girl, but she would cash in on her. But
I don't know. When do we see? It'll be interesting. When do you all think, as everyone's coming in the chat and chiming in? Was Tiffany Stratton the best choice for women's Money in the Bank? Did you want to see Io Sky? Maybe Lyra Valkyria?
Woo!
Yeah, I got it right.
Good girl.
There we go. Hold on. Where's my? I'm too late.
It's too late.
Right.
But yeah,
we had too many drops in the show.
I think it was a good match. I think we had the 1A, 1B winner, and I think 1A won it, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too. I'm also excited to see a bunch of new people coming into the chat. So if you're new, hit the old like and subscribe. We are discussing Money in the Bank last night. John Cena retired. If you want to talk about that, we can throw that in the chat. We can open up the phone line. We usually open up the phone lines. One more topic, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you want to call in and talk about your experience watching it, maybe you want to talk about your John Cena memories. Maybe you want to talk about what's next in this 2025 year for John Cena. Maybe you want to talk about Tiffany Stratton as women's Money in the Bank. When is it going to be her time to cash in? There's a lot to discuss stemming from Money in the Bank. But, Nikki, before we wrap up Tiffy time?
No, I think I'm excited for Tiffy time. I think there's more Tiffy time to be had by all. And I'm excited to see. I hope she opens SmackDown. I want her to come out with her little Money in the Bank purse, because I think that's going to be hysterical. And that's what you want from the champion, or briefcase holder, sorry. They also kept saying she's the 8th winner. All 7 of the previous women's briefcase holders cashed in, got a championship. I think she's going to make it 8. I don't see them having Chelsea miss. I think
you mean Tiffany, not Chelsea.
Sorry. For instance.
Different person.
No, I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to have her lose. And I think the men that have lost, again, besides Drew, because Drew's very much storyline, but all the people that kind of didn't cash in the briefcase didn't necessarily deserve it. Maybe John Cena being so valiant, like, I'm cashing in here, sir, and all that stuff. But like the Baron Corbin's, like Otis lost the briefcase to whoever, but like, I almost said Elias, not Elias. Rhodes Scholars, not Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow. Like, again, he had a beautiful custom briefcase, but he wasn't cashing in. But I don't know. I think Tiffany does cash in. I just would like it to breathe a little bit before she does. Like, I don't think it's going to be SummerSlam. I think it's going to breathe a little bit.
That's fair.
But I would love to see 8-0 ladies cashing in.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tiffany as champion. I think it's inevitable. So let's bring us to our main event of the evening. There was 2 briefcases given out. Nikki can take her victory lap for the main event because she correctly predicted that Drew McIntyre
would win it. Cash in, say night, unsuccessful. Nick did a victory lap around our living room that he said Sammy over Braun. And I was like, yeah, but watch my prediction is going to be a little more fun.
So, a lot to discuss. And we're going to package this all into the one-ish segment of the men's Money in the Bank, because it factored into the not main event, what we thought was going to be like main event, but like later, with Drew McIntyre ultimately claiming the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, Nikki, your thoughts on the men's Money in the Bank ladder match first?
Okay. Again, I liked it. Again, also Peacock, you suck because our Peacock stopped working. We lost a chunk of this match, and again, rewatched it this morning. But I thought it was fun. I'm going to go through some spots quickly. Started out, brutal Glasgow kiss to Andrade. Quick. You had that infamous that they teased on SmackDown, the stare down between Jay and LA Knight. Yeet versus yeah. I don't know if anyone won that. I think they're very much even.
LA Knight's more over. LA Knight is more over than Jey Uso. We've discussed this with numerous people.
So then they're doing their like the yeet yeahs in the ring. Then Drew comes with a ladder. He goes to climb the ladder, and then Chad Gable gets him into an arm bar, threw over on top of the ladder. He's hanging. There's beautiful chef's kiss. He's upside down, yanking the arm, and then Andrade comes out of flipping nowhere, hits a leg drop on Gable.
Springboard guillotine leg drop. That's what I'm calling it.
That's beautiful because I'm just like, he did a leg thing.
He used his legs.
He uses the leggies. But how he perfectly, because you see obviously Drew and Gable are on a ladder. There's also a ladder on the ring mat. Andrade fell perfectly in between the two ladders. I don't know how he pulled that off, but it's like, thank God he was able to do that. So he did that, and then Mello hits a springboard clothesline from the ladder because Andrade was coming this way, he was coming that way, hit that move. Then they go and do this crazy, they called it an
Spanish fly?
Inverted Spanish fly, because they're facing the same way. And then I don't know if it was Cultaholic or what culture, but they called it a lion. They did a lion salt together. So either way, crazy spot. They both did a flip together off the rope onto a ladder. Bananas. Then Chad Gable, who's my MVP of this match, goes on a tear. German suplexes everybody. Hits the crazy chaos theory. I don't know, it was on Andrade or LA Knight that he hit the chaos theory on.
I thought it was one of the other ones.
But he hit the chaos theory, so I punched myself in the face. There's the chaos theory. Then he's run out of people to fling around. He German suplex the ladder onto Andrade, and the crowd starts chanting, "You still suck." And I was like, oh my God, why do they hate Chad Gable so much? I'm just like, it was beautiful. Then LA Knight comes and hits a net breaker on Chad onto the ladder was this way, so it was like the skidding part. Hits it on that. Then at one point he gets, again, Chad Gable, my chef's kiss, is on two. I guess this is before that, but I can skip because I love so much of this. He's on one ladder. Then LA Knight's on the other. No, Hayes is on the other ladder. He gets him on an ankle lock in between the two ladders, which is also super fun. He got some claymores, and then LA Knight and Jay beat up Drew. Rushing. Then I think it's throwing me off because I have like 3 other things to say before this.
Well, just say it.
So at this point, you have
zoom in.
Andrade and Mello on the ladder. LA Knight comes and pushes Andrade off. He sunset flip power bombs Mello through the other ladder. Cole goes shoo, and Corey screams, "Hayes is dead." And then at this point, back in the ring, this is when people start eliminating themselves. So now you're not going to see Mello or Andrade because they did that crazy spot. Gable does a belly-to-belly sort of backdrop, drops LA Knight over the top rope onto a ladder. He's gone. Then we go back to Nick's picture. Gable
made it.
I'm sorry, go quick. Gable climbs up the ladder, goes to get the briefcase. Jay moves it out the way. He's dangling on, holding on, poor little leggies. And at one point, it's in the, I don't know if it's your next slide, but Jay moves into the other side. He's basically waiting for Gable to drop so he can hit him with the spear. Gable free falls.
I didn't think that this was that high originally until I saw the next picture of just him dropping.
Horrifying. Him just like, at the recap after the match, Corey goes, he fell from the moon. Like, he just, like, looks like he fucking free falls.
Well, he almost tried to catch himself, too. I think maybe he was trying to. I don't know.
But it just, like, he just goes splat. Then he gets hit with the spear. He's gone. Then Jay moves the ladder back over. Jay starts climbing, and then Drew comes out of nowhere, flings the ladder at Jay like a javelin, like Cole said. Just like, I don't think we've ever seen this. I think, or maybe in WWE.
Yeah, it's a unique spot. It's definitely not
for him to be like, boop. Jay falls. Drew hits him with a claymore. Drew climbs up. Mr. Money in the Bank. And then Corey yells to Cole, saying, "You might have called Drew a hypocrite, but he's one step forward of this prophecy. The first step of this prophecy just came true." Because he said that he's going to win the Money in the Bank, cash in, win the belt. So step one, check mark.
So Drew opens show, takes care of business, wins what he claims he was going to do, wins Money in the Bank, and proceeds to set up the main event later in the evening, which brings out the black and white cookie himself, Seth Rollins.
My bae. That's
all I kept thinking about when I saw this. I was like, black and white cookie.
It was also a thing that Vince McMahon didn't like him wearing white. Because remember, I think was that the Jon Stewart thing? He looked like the white Power Ranger, and I literally have the white and the black and the thing. Anyways, but Vince didn't like him wearing white, so I wonder if this is like a F you to him on wearing white.
Maybe everything's a F you to Vince now. It seems like every chance that anyone gets. So they open up the match. We have Rollins Priest. This whole beginning, basically the whole like first 5-10 minutes is literally them like not chain wrestling, like wrestling, but like normal wrestling. But they keep looking back. Looking back. There's also Undertaker chants to Priest right as he comes in. So a lot of like real interesting, like fun little interactive moments that have happened. But that was a callback to like, I don't remember if anyone did anything like that in terms of like in the past, like with Money in the Bank, that actually, kept looking back and like.
Yes, I have that in my notes. I feel like it was the first time too, because I think he openly called like he was going to do this. And it was very much them like any time one person was down, they looked over like, and then at one point Seth was like, come on, Drew. I mean, I feel like there was a sense of urgency in the beginning. Like Seth went for pedigree like right out the gate. And then like Priest came back and tried to hit the chokeslam right out the gate. Like I feel like it, and then Cole said that like they're just trying to hit their finisher to get out the building because Drew's coming. So it definitely felt like the first time that it was just like, when is he gonna come? Because I feel like this really, you try to be like, Edge being the ultimate opportunist. Was that what they called it?
Yeah, ultimate. Yeah, no, the ultimate opportunist. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just waiting for this opportunity where, like, again, when John Cena is bloody in the ring, that's when you come out. When the champion's down, like how Carmella wanted off Charlotte, like when people are down, that's when you come out. Not like I'm going to enter your match and take it.
Look at Seth Rollins doing a cartwheel. I don't even know what he's doing. A somersault.
No, he did a senton, and then he did this is him doing the lion salt, I believe.
He just looks like a kid that's just like jumping into the water at the beach.
Because you said last night, like, looks like he gained a little weight, looks like he's a step and a half slower, which I disagree, because then he did the swanton, and then he did the lion salt, and then I don't know if it was Corey or Cole or both agreeing that they're like, oh, he's pulling, that's the lion salt, but he's pulling out different stuff. He's like, Seth has been in this game for a long time. Everyone studies his tape. He's got to mix it up. So I love that he pulled out some new stuff. Again, he's my bae. Anything he does is happy making to me.
But you love some Seth Rollins.
I do. I he was mine. I was his before it was yours. But eventually, I don't know how much. I didn't really take much notes on the actual match, but eventually he did hit the curb stomp that led into he
hits the curb stomp. There's also a spot later, like where the Razor's Edge, throw it up. Hold on.
Okay, hold on. I'm wearing my one more time for the bad guy. It's a little weird, but I'm wearing my
she threw a Razor Ramon shirt on for the Razor's Edge that Seth Rollins got last night.
I do very much love my Razor Ramon.
So they both take each other's. Well, he doesn't take us. I don't think he takes us out of heaven.
He doesn't take us out of heaven.
And then ultimately,
yes, So Drew comes out, hands the briefcase to the referee in the ring. The ref goes to Chelsea. God, why keep saying Chelsea Green's in my brain?
You really are obsessed with Chelsea Green.
Woo! Because Samantha Irvine says Chelsea Green, but tells Samantha it's a triple threat. Says it's a triple threat. He hits the future shock on Seth. He goes to hit the Claymore on Seth. Priest intercepts with the clothesline, and then all of a sudden, like a bat out of hell, you see the people behind. So again, future shock. And then you see the people on Heart Camera like, oh my God. And then Punk comes in, flying, beating him up, throws him out of the ring, chair shot, chokes him with the cord of the camera thing. He gets back into the ring. Punk grabs the World Heavyweight Championship, comes and hits Priest hits Drew with it. Then he goes, kind of wobbles into the ring. Then Priest hits South of Heaven, pins Drew 1, 2, 3. Priest retains. He can stay in the Judgment Day, but my Seth cannot challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Why Priest still owns it. So then he starts jaw-jacking to CM Punk, and Corey Graves has to grab Seth and be like, whoa.
So yes, a lot to diagnose in the end of this match. So you have the cash-in that happens, and then you have Punk, which we thought might happen. He might show up. I think we both called it. I'm not giving you a victory lap over that because we both called it. So no. But Punk comes out and interrupts and just gives him a pretty vicious beatdown. He hits him like 1 million times with the chair. Mm-hmm. Like literally, it was easy to find photos of this because he hit him about 17 times with the chair. So again, enacts his revenge and sets up a lot of different storylines now for this whole end of summer, beyond summer. Like he hits McIntyre, right? This shot alone tells me so much.
Girl.
The World Heavyweight Championship that was originally Seth Rollins' that he cannot challenge for now. CM Punk, eventually, there's so much to diagnose from this because, first off, Priest won the match and retained his belt. Like, that was the last thing that everyone thinks about in this whole thing.
We both called him to retain.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like when you think about this whole match, the last thing you're thinking about is that Priest actually retained his belt, and like he's kind of an afterthought and all. So the World Heavyweight Champion who defended his belt without the help of the Judgment Day, right, now has, for the second time in his tenure, had a CM Punk interference that maybe it's third, but that helped him win or retain the belt. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
So he has that element of CM Punk's always in his business. Mm-hmm. You also have the feud already with Punk and McIntyre. Mm-hmm. Does that center around the belt? It does in some ways.
It doesn't need to be.
But it doesn't need to be, but it is. And now, based off of all that, you have Seth Rollins, who is unable to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship that he made respectful. I don't know, put respect on it.
It was inaugural, and I can't, Jesus Christ. No, the first one.
Inaugural.
There you go. And he was champion for how long? It made that belt feel super special. And I feel like Damian's kind of carrying that on. And I love commentary on this because Cole called Seth collateral damage in all of this. Like Punk was so obsessed with screwing over Drew McIntyre that he basically inadvertently or intentionally or unintentionally screwed over Seth. And then Corey calls him the Second City spoiler. So, the Second City saint, the Second City spoiler. So I'm interested because the jaw-jacking when Punk appeared that Seth apparently didn't know or knew or didn't know what was pissed. Was it kayfabe? Was not kayfabe? He called CM Punk a cancer. And then, Corey Graves had to hold Seth back at Survivor Series. And it's here again, Corey Graves holding Seth saying, it's okay, it's okay. Because again, that was supposed to be the Mania match before CM Punk got injured, was supposed to be Seth, Punk. Again, I really love.
So can they? And we argue about this all the time in the show, but like, can they do a fatal 4-way that prolongs the Punk Rollins feud, the one-on-one match that everyone wants to see, and keeps the others involved in the story? Like, it keeps Drew as a main event status type name, right? It keeps, obviously, Priest is the champion, but he keeps him around and relevant, and maybe ups a little bit more of his allure, prestige as champion, as a main event contender, right?
Do you think like Drew, Punk, Seth triple threat SummerSlam? Also, we should probably get to that next part.
Drew, Punk, Seth.
Because now at this point, SummerSlam.
Well, Damian's the champion.
Well, Damian's the champion, but Gunther has that. Are you going to make that a fatal 5-way? But Gunther is the stipulation? Going back to King of the Ring, is that you get the title shot at SummerSlam, but is it a guarantee that it's a one-on-one? I necessarily don't. Again, I want it to be Gunther Priest, and Gunther. Again, my brain screams Gunther is walking out of SummerSlam with that belt. I guess don't think.
I know, because you want everyone's first shot to be their best shot.
I wanted Braun to win last.
So, I guess I kind of throw this. I mean,
do you want to briefly before you cry?
Okay.
Remember, the post-show stuff with Drew.
So
at the post-show, it's Jackie Redmond outside with Big E and Wade Barrett, and Punk. Jesus, Drew comes out in jeans, topless, starts screaming at the camera, saying, "Punk, I know you're still here. Punk, I know where you live. I'm gonna get your family." He's like screaming, going crazy. And then Pierce comes out to try to grab him to get him away from the thing. Drew Joseph Adam Pierce. Big E runs away because I don't think Big E's allowed to do anything physical. Poor Jackie Redmond just sits there. I'm like, you should have ran with Big E. But then Wade Barrett comes and grabs Drew, kind of sort of also pushes Pierce, because Pierce goes after after Drew now because he got the Jews effect. So then Wade Barrett pulls Drew off frame, and then they go back into the press conference. But then it came out today that Adam Pierce says that Drew's suspended indefinitely. So is that going to be is Punk not medically cleared yet for SummerSlam? Again, SummerSlam's in 3 weeks. It's August 3rd, 3rd.
All right, so you throw this out there. So because someone in one of the post-game press conferences, I'm going to call post-match, whatever, said this to Punk last month, and they said, you should be in a Hell in a Cell, but, obviously, but, when it's one-on-one, what is the stipulation between McIntyre and Punk?
Do you think you can get to October 5th? Again, it's the 27th anniversary of the first Bad Blood Hell in a Cell match when Kane debuted as a person. It's also the anniversary of me being alive for 36 years. It's going to be a fun night.
We should do a watch-along. You're not a huge watch-along fan, but we should probably do it. Throw it in the chat here. If we get enough comments, Nikki might do it. So just do a watch-along for Nikki's birthday. A Bad Blood watch-along. Don't spoil your stuff.
You can watch me.
We've got a lot of cords and electricity over here. This could be our last episode if you spill stuff.
But could you, maybe you could drag this out, because again, October is going to be here, but I don't know, 2025 is going to be here before you know it. Bad Blood and my birthday are going to be here before you know it. Could you stretch this out? Could this be main? Again, I just want to see CM Punk main event something.
Main what?
Bad Blood.
Oh, main of Bad Blood. Okay.
Because I thought that's what you're alluding to, because you said that someone said
no. I just meant what's the stipulation for when they do? I don't know which time that they actually do yet. I mean, when do they? But Bad Blood wouldn't be a bad idea. That would be a good main event for Bad Blood if you could keep it going to October, August. That's a long time.
But again, are they? Because rumors were before.
Well, if you do a fatal, figure this. You do a fatal 4-way. There's a lot of heavy-handedness, I should say, violence that's gone on in this feud already. That I don't know that it could go to that level. You know what I mean? I don't know that it could sustain it a slow burn long enough for 3 more months without a match. But you could do the fatal 4-way. You could do the fatal 4-way, then have they're kind of interacting, getting like teasing of it. What's the September pay-per-view? I'm not sure offhand. And like,
is that no?
Maybe I don't know.
Bash at Berlin is also at the end of August. I don't know what's in September.
Well, if he's, I guess let's figure it this way. Let's think through. If McIntyre's suspended and Punk off TV, whatever, you could suspend him for a month, keep him off TV for a month, and that buys you a month to September, right? Like July, August, mid-August, right? He'd come back mid-August, late August, like so maybe after SummerSlam. He comes back, put him off TV until after SummerSlam. He comes back. That's like August 10th-ish week, my birthday. Shameless self-promotion. But like he comes back August 10th-ish. You put him in matches. He has one pay-per-view, right? You have one pay-per-view before Bad Blood. You could still keep that going because it's still the payoff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is he indefinitely suspended because Punk can't wrestle at SummerSlam? Or is the SummerSlam match... Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach. Welcome in, Zach.
Would the SummerSlam match be then maybe, again, we don't know if Punk's cleared. He wouldn't answer that at the press conference. Would it be crazy to have Punk, Seth, and have Drew come in and cost Punk that match? And that's, it's hard because it's like, there was also...
Yeah, but that match, what would that match be?
Again, that was supposed to be a mini match, so I don't know. Booker man, give me the pencil. I don't know.
Like, I just don't.
I just hate when
I don't know why. Like Punk's Rollins is upset at Punk for screwing over his one shot, so I get that. It would make more sense to a triple threat probably could work if he did it for. But again, if Punk's healthy. But Punk's not, we don't know if Punk's healthy.
But there was also rumor that Drew was supposed to take time off. And that's when he said, he's like, I quit the WWE. They were like, all right, then he's going to take the time off. And then he come back on Friday and beat ups.
Zach said he only watched the main event last night.
Well, spoilies, babe. Sorry.
Well, main event was Bloodline. So we didn't really talk about that. If you want, Zach, if you want to call in, we can talk about Bloodline stuff. Because a little bit predictable on that front for us on our end, but there's some interesting little tidbits that come of it. But yeah, like what would be the stipulation? They've used steel chairs. We don't know how Punk got his ass kicked by McIntyre in Chicago. He just showed up bloodied and beaten. So like we don't have any like hint as to like did he use a kendo stick? Did he just like strangle him with a cord?
But would it be crazy because everything needs a stipulation, everything needs a thing? Maybe just have like an Iron Man match, just wrestle in the ring. They already did all that.
You can't. No, because
they already got beaten up backstage. You already had the chair shot.
No,
you already had the belt.
I disagree because this is why an Iron Man match is something Gunther should do. Gunther, that should be reserved for someone like Gunther who's the ring guy. Like make him be the guy to do something like that because it's more pure. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think
Zach thinks they need to have a death match.
Somewhere John Moxley's bleeding.
Actually, that's not bad. Last Man Standing wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, with all the beatdown that they have, I wouldn't put it past. Like that's a fair enough. Like it was weird because Punk like in his post-game, whatever, like was like no Hell in a Cell. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like blah blah blah. Like I get it. You don't want to damage your body or anything like that. But to be perfectly honest, like it's going towards like that would be a great payoff.
He said that the person that asked the question basically said their first match should be in Hell in a Cell, and Punk's like, this is why your fans not bookers, basically saying like that's not, you don't start off a feud in Hell in a Cell, you end the feud at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
So I think you have a kind of with like AJ Cody, like you had that technical match first, then you had the match with the stipulation. So I think you have to progress. You can't just be like, we're going to have a barbed wire death match as our first match. Like you got to...
Exploding barbed wire death match is your first return match, CM Punk.
Oh, God.
Get it right.
You're the Dark Side of the Ring when it's, Terry Funk and what's his face, and they're the ropes were on fire. Like, you gotta build up to that.
So the other question that I wonder is, oh, nice. He's going to SmackDown on Friday. Yeah, where is SmackDown? Because they were just in Toronto. Well, they're probably East Coast.
Well, they were MSG. Yep. Oh, Vancouver's that way. Was it Boston?
It's probably something. It's got to be East Coast, unless Zach's trying to. Wait, let's see. Oh. Worcester. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Worcester, Mass. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one because they always do it big for. Now I wonder if John Cena. Wait, you said SmackDown, so I wonder if John Cena would show up for that because it's hometown, all that stuff after his whole retirement tour. Zach, I know you came in late. We were talking the big takeaways. You might have missed it last night. So John Cena announced his retirement. You probably heard on the dirt sheet, but he announced his retirement at Money in the Bank, saying 2025 is going to be his basically swan song year, and he's going to do a myriad of like 30 to 40 dates. I wonder if it'll be 30 to 40 matches, but 30 to 40 dates, and basically, round out his in-ring career. Touche. The only true gem in the professional wrestling business, Zach Ruby, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, like the other question I have before we get going here is like, what's next for Seth Rollins? Like, is he competing at SummerSlam? Is he like, I just don't know. Like, is he at SummerSlam? Is he gonna take time off? Does he have another feud?
I think you kept saying it last night. You're like, I don't know if he's back full time. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as halfway crux. Like, I think he's back. Like, I think there's going to be something with Punk. I think there's going to be something with Drew. I think would he cost Priest the match? Again, if we're predicting, or you're predicting Priest Finn at SummerSlam, could Seth cost that match? Because him and Finn have some serious history at SummerSlam, especially around belts. Seth beat him, well, technically, he beat him once, but the first time he technically beat him because he had to vacate the Universal Championship. What?
Was the infamous torn labrum? Is that what he had?
I don't know. I think
it was a torn labrum.
Learn how to take a buckle bomb. No.
Yeah, buckle bomb into the barricade. Like, you make it seem like he's like actually.
Oh, these are the jokes.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, your harsh judgment of Finn Balor.
God,
put some respect on his name. He's about to hook up with Liv Morgan.
Again, you can't. I
also have a new drop of the Liv Morgan.
I haven't play it.
Well, I haven't. Maybe we'll save that for later. Who doesn't love some Liv Morgan? She didn't show up at Money in the Bank.
There's a lot of things. Like, you didn't see any Liv. I'm surprised we actually didn't see any Judgment Day because, again, Priest was like, none of y'all get into my business. And then and then Finn was like, whatever you say, boss. And then the stare down. So, again, that's what we think maybe will be the SummerSlam match. But then, like, no, Wyatt 6.
Yeah, we thought they were getting involved in something. I thought it was the men's Money in the Bank was perfect opportunity to have them come do some sort of like the smoke knocks out everybody but one person who wins the match.
And then also people were thinking that Logan Paul would come and try to cost LA. So it's like everyone thought this would be, we kind of talked about it on Friday, this big schmaz and chicanery and all the things, and like nothing happened.
Drew and Damian and Rollins, and hair versus hair versus hair.
Oh no.
Actually, that's a good question, to be honest. I really have no idea. Who would look the best without hair? Or with short hair? Let's throw this out.
I don't think I can handle that.
Hold on. Give me a second. All right. No, it's not a good Damian Priest one.
If you cut Seth Rollins' hair, I don't think I can handle it.
I don't know if Priest could do without. Priest could. Priest probably, out of all of them, I think Priest probably could pull it off.
Also, Priest has extensions.
Yeah, but like, I wish I had the thing. But like, I'm pointing at it, like, you look at his like kind of crew cut-ish sideburn. What is that called? This part of your head? Hold on, I'm gonna take this off for a second. This part of your head that I grow in a lot because I'm bald, but like that most bald people grow on the side, not sideburns, side hair burns, whatever it's called. But he's got a lot of that. So, like, I think he could shave it and still pull it off.
There's also, it was a little while back. It was one of their UK tours. Seth and Becky were on some talk show, and she basically was like, he can shave his beard, which I would be devastated. But she's like, he's not allowed to cut his hair.
I don't know, Drew. I'm squinting to try and see Drew.
And even he had. Look, I'm thinking back when like he was Vince McMahon's the Chosen One. He had long hair then. He had long hair in 3MB. He had long hair when he was Drew Galloway back in TNA, Impact, WCPW. He had long hair back then. Like,
well, it's like John Cena when he grew out his hair. I was like, stop doing that. Some people just like need to just stay in their lane with their hair.
I don't know. I'm very. Again, Zach, you better still have that 5 o'clock shadow thing that's going on. I'm very particular about hair and facial hair. When it changes, I get very upset. There's one time Nick got his like trimmed, and it was so short. I basically was like,
like I was Drew McIntyre in this photo. I was like, I didn't mean to shave my beard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You like tried. I was like, I can't.
She's like, how dare you shave your facial hair? But yes.
So I don't know. It can't.
But we had a bunch of new people coming in, so appreciate you coming in and joining us. If you're new, hit the like and subscribe button. We have a couple different things here. We have if you're a Bloodline fan, you can hit the like with the Samoan Spike. Or if that doesn't do it for you, even though they didn't show up last night, we thought they were. If you're an Uncle Howdy fan, you could hit the like subliminally. Like this. We're just adding new drops, but the production value is off the charts on this show, especially when I drink a lot and I just have a lot of time to myself in our wormhole of the basement. So I didn't even know. Zach says he has a 20 o'clock shadow.
Love it. Keep it.
I don't think you can grow as good a beard as me. Zach, we will. This is something that your personal wise man, Mr. Nick, will teach you over the progression of our of our client relationship. As your advocate, just don't Paul Heyman me like the Bloodline did. If you try to, I will show up with a vengeance. I don't know who I'd show up with, but I'd show up with somebody.
My first date with Nick, we knew each other 24 hours. I told him you're never allowed to shave your beard ever again. 6 years later, it'll be 6 years in 2 weeks. Hasn't shaved his beard. Trust in the beard. Zach, you're doing great.
Exactly. Unbelievable. I'm trying to catch him all the time. How dare you? This business arrangement, this is not exactly, listen, the wise man took care of everybody, and I take care of everybody here. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Zach, we're going to talk about that match you have coming up in August.
I mean,
we have a lot to discuss on how you're not using any sort of ruby as a weapon. It's very disappointing. But more for the next episodes when Zach joins us, because we know Zach's going to come on. We love our buddy Zach, as long as he doesn't turn on me and try any nefarious activities. Listen, we have a couple people on the show. We have our enforcer, Andrew Anderson, and we have Crowbar. So listen, we better get in line. It's like some people have the Samoan SWAT team. We have those two. Equally as good.
I can swing a chair. I can swing a baseball bat.
Good, Zach. He won't turn on me. But then he put his eyes out, so I don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
Just watch your back, babe.
It does. I don't like that. Anyway, I digress. This has been a fun one.
We're gonna have a quick little Sunday fun day happy hour, catching you up on all the Money in the Bank catering.
Yeah, we figured because Heat Wave is in another 20 minutes that we'll cut out a little early today and let you all get your snacks and your drinks refreshed and your bathroom breaks before Heat Wave.
Is it bad that I'm really just watching Heat Wave to see if you say his name and he'll appear?
Not necessarily.
But yeah, no, Heat Wave's coming up. Get your snacks, take yourself out, take your dog out.
Yeah, like I'm excited to see what turns out. I think the hype, just like any NXT event, pay-per-view weekend, they tend to try and capitalize off the momentum. So
and honestly, in recent memory, when's the last time they did an NXT WWE thing in the same, besides WrestleMania? Like, it was always NXT, like,
it's like Survive. It's a big four.
Black and Gold brand. It was always they did takeover before a Sunday main pay-per-view.
But now that everything's Saturday, I think they're doing it Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday.
But I'm thinking, besides Mania, when's the last, like, they weren't, like, obviously they weren't in France or Scotland. Like, what was February? Or because they didn't do something.
Elimination Chamber.
That was also in Australia. Royal Rumble.
I don't remember where it was.
I'm saying.
When was it?
To me, this is just sticking
it's the
out
end of January.
that because Corey said it last night, like they're taking over the city. They did SmackDown, Money in the Bank, Heat Wave. I'm excited they're doing this again. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Fine.
Yeah.
Cut me off.
Oh, she's getting my
last shot.
I'm giving her last shot.
I digress. I don't know.
Yeah, tonight a little quieter, but we hope you all enjoyed Money in the Bank. We did just a couple before we get off here. Just a couple housekeeping items, just so that we touch on a couple things. So we both correctly. That's a new word. We're creating new words here. Don't mess with my poetic license here. But we both correctly predicted the Bloodline winning. Mm-hmm. So, again, we just to touch on it here, we expected that. We thought maybe there might have been a debut. Didn't happen.
It's a relatively quiet pay-per-view. There was, besides Punk beating up Drew, which I called, really nothing. Because Triple H said the thing at the beginning. He's like, this is going to change the WWE forever.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, my takeaway from the Bloodline match real quick was just Jacob Fatu. They're making him out to be a monster, and he's going to be a main event guy. He actually, I think, has the ability to be a higher level star than Solo because of the way that they're building him up.
He had to whisper in the wind.
Yeah.
Crazy. No sold vintage. Like, he's a star.
Yeah, they're 100% setting Jacob Fatu up for big things in the future. That was my takeaway from that. Also, my takeaway, I thought Sami Zayn was going to win. Correctly predicted that. Sami Zayn is our remaining.
I am surprised it only took one haluva kick to beat Braun. Don't know how I feel about it. Again, love Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Didn't think that was it. I think Braun's time's coming. I think they're going to make him a main event star. I don't think he needs the Intercontinental title to be there. Oh, you got to go through the mid-card to be the main event. Well, if you're a main eventer, you're a star. So, ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Right, Eminem?
I said that before.
I know. I'm throwing it back out. There we go. We're coming full circle.
End this so
full
I can
circle.
fight you in the streets.
No, you're not going to. I'm not going to end this so that I don't have to fight anyone in the street and I can run away. I can go to bed safely. Which I'm 100% taking that clip from Triple H about, like, we ended the show safely. There was no injuries. We're going to end shows from now on like that. But let me get off the last two before we go.
No, I think, again,
wait until Zilla Fatu gets on. Yeah,
you got Hikuleo. There's talking about the other Rikishi's son that's supposed to be older than the Usos. So
yeah, there's a million of them. And they all have, like, 15 sons, too, and daughters. So, like, they're all coming. The Bloodline will be basically it'll be a
storyline for
it'll
forever.
be a brand, the Bloodline brand. It'll be like Raw, SmackDown, and Bloodline. But I digress. This has been fun. Well, as always, it's always a blast.
It's fun with you, babe. It's all right, me and you.
Yeah, I enjoy spending time with you. At least 1 hour every week. Sometimes 2 hours. Like
I know,
this week.
Spoiler alert: this is the only interaction Nick and I have.
Yeah, no, we go separate ways after this. She stays upstairs, and I lock myself in the Teodoro Penitentiary of the basement. So, since day one-ish. But that being said, it's been a blast. We're back here, just to let you know, we're back here Friday at 6 in our normal time.
Yep.
Because there's no pay-per-views going on.
I'm not getting my hair done.
Not getting, yeah. Some people are not. Shawn Michaels has left the building. Her hair's not done. I almost did a Howard Finkel drop of that. You were so lucky. Because it's coming. You don't remember the Shawn Michaels? He's left the building announcements. But regardless, it's been fun. Thank you for joining us. We will see you Friday at 6 p.m. Promptly join us. We'll discuss the week's happenings in wrestling as we always do. But until next time, you don't have to go home.
But you can stay here. Bye.